Hey, what's up everybody? Tony here from the Doorpreneur. Glad you guys could make it to this video. So what I put together for you guys today is a copy of the webinar that I hosted the other day that showcases Monday.com. More specifically, how I've adapted it for my property management company. So we've been working with Monday for quite a while now, and we've come up with some very, very cool stuff. Stuff like automations, integrations with different products, different workflows to be able to deal with your leasing, with your pipelines, your move-ins, your move-outs, maintenance, communication strategies with your owners, all sorts of really cool stuff. So the webinar is about an hour and 15 minutes or so, where I go pretty deep into some topics, and some other things I just kind of skim on the top. So have a watch. If there's any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I can always be reached at tony@doorpreneur.com. And yeah, hope you enjoy it, and leave some comments, send me an email in terms of what you think. And again, if you got any questions with regards to Monday. All right, we are set to go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for some training on a piece of software that has completely transformed my property management business over the last little while. And we've gotten so much out of it that I couldn't help and keep all of that information to myself. So I wanted to be able to put this presentation together, get a bunch of property managers together, and kind of share this information so that a lot of you guys could possibly have some key takeaways, possibly implement the software in your own management company, and hopefully give you guys a lot of value. So as the invitation stated, we're going to be looking at Monday.com. I don't know about you guys, but I clearly remember last year I was all of a sudden inundated by Monday.com ads in my Facebook profile. And it was getting very annoying. And I remember one afternoon, I was like, okay, I got to take a look at this stuff. I got to see what this is all about. And I've kind of never looked back ever since. I've been using the tool on and off. And I'd probably say over the last 4 to 6 months, if not longer, it's been accelerated that much further. So we've been using it for a lot of different ways. So I got about 5 or 6 different pieces that I want to show you guys that I think will provide the most value. And those are kind of the notes that I put in the Facebook invitation. I think they're going to be very valuable for just about any property manager in any stage of their company, and in terms of how big they are in different sizes. So that's what we'll kind of go through. Before I jump into the material, so a lot of you guys probably don't know me. I know I've spoken to a lot of you online in the whole in Facebook world. There are some people on the line that I do know personally, but I'll give you a quick 2-minute intro to myself. So my name is Tony LeBlanc. I live in Eastern Canada. I'm a property manager. I'm an author. I'm an entrepreneur. I kind of do a lot of different things, but everything that I do is centered around the property management world. So we have 3 offices, 3 locations here in Eastern Canada, managing around close to 2,000 units, working with a lot of different properties. We got residential, we got commercial, we got a lot of multi-res, single family, duplex. We manage the gamut, and we deal with a lot of different issues like all of us do. Software happens to be a very important passion to me. So before I got into the property management domain, I was actually a software engineer for 15 years with IBM. So I did software engineering plus software consulting and teaching with IBM. So I pretty much traveled all over the world teaching the software that we created, or one of the pieces of software that not Microsoft, IBM had. And my job was basically to teach others how to use it and to customize it and to their needs. So a lot of different skills involved in that. So I was able to take a lot of those things, bring it into the property management space. And unfortunately, the software that we currently utilize in our property management world, if you're like me, you kind of feel like you've been constrained quite a bit. I know there's a lot of familiar faces in here.
that are Buildium users, as I am, and you'll know the frustrations that go behind using Buildium and how closed it is, and all the other software platforms, management platforms that are out there. So there's people that love what they use, but there seems to be always something missing. So for us, Monday has really been that tool that I've finally been able to use to be able to tie everything together in terms of what we've been using. We had a tremendous need for a lot of different automations, a lot of different workflows, accountability, just sheer tracking stuff, sharing stuff, communication. The list was endless. I made a post in, I forget which group, a couple months ago about the software stack that my office used and all of the different components and all the different monthly costs of these things. And it was crazy. And I'm proud to admit that we're starting to cut a lot of that back because of Monday, which has really been kind of a godsend for us. So today, we're going to go through the product. I'm going to show you some guys that some of the parts of it that have given us the biggest impact, and I'll open it up at the end if you guys got any questions. But I'm going to try to keep this within an hour to an hour and a half. If you have to leave, that's fine. This is recorded. I'm going to be sending it out to everybody after we're done, so you can watch it at another time. And we're going to try to stick to the topics that I mentioned in that in the invitation. I know various people email me back wanting to talk about a lot of different things, but actually most of them were very on point to the discussion points that I'm going to share today. So they have to do with monthly move in and move out flow automations. We're going to talk about maintenance, how to handle that. I've also got vacancy list stuff, pipelines, and overall CRM functionality. So you're going to see me push a lot of buttons, and you're going to see a lot of things kind of go all at once. So take notes, and don't be shy to send me an email after the fact and like, oh, you did this and I didn't quite understand that. Just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to be able to discuss it further with you and share and show you how to do whatever you need to do. So the first one, the first part or first section that I want to go through is really a very, very introduction level of what the interface looks like. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here, and I'm going to get into my install for Monday, and we're going to start sharing. There we go. So Monday.com, when you first look at it, it kind of looks like it. I remember seeing all the ads, and it really just looked like this big fancy spreadsheet. And I saw all these things moving around, and you could do this, you could do that, you could integrate it with this, you could integrate it with that. Not fully understanding how powerful this thing was until we started using it. And we were like, every day we were blown away. I'm like, oh, we can do that. Oh, we can do this. We can do that. I can automate this. And just the list just start going on and on and on and on again until, once we start implementing this stuff, it was just off the charts. So this is a few sections that I want to kind of show you guys on how this interface looks. So we basically have these three main sections. So one is your favorites. Same thing as a web browser. If you want to have a quick list of things that you need to go to quickly and all the time, well, you can star them and they go into your favorites. Workspaces is basically a compartmentalization of where you put everything. Let me just get somebody else. More people are trying to get in here. There we go. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, the workspaces, you can think of them as compartments. The way that I've done it up is I've done it up by company. So we have core, which is our landscaping, maintenance, snow removal, cleaning, mold remediation. I've got a whole bunch of companies that fall under that umbrella. So I put everything into that workspace. Then I have the Doorpreneur, which is my book and a bunch of other stuff that I work on. Ground Floor, which is my management company. And if anybody of you are familiar with EOS, We're a big EOS shop, so we implement EOS here in ground floor, and we're starting to implement it in one of our other companies in core, because we believe a lot in the way the philosophies in terms of how they run their businesses. So I've created a very specific workspace just for EOS. So once I open up, and the third one is dashboards. So think of a dashboard as a visual component to where you could see all of your KPIs. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot that are currently in here, but if I wanted to quickly see all of my ins and outs for the current month, this is a quick one that I just set up the other day. So it gives me the list of all the different move-ins and outs that I've got lined up already for this month. So within the dashboards, you can create amazing charts, graphs, pivot tables. You can get into some really crazy stuff. We're not going to go too much into dashboards today. We're going to really save all of our work to be done inside the workspaces so that I can show you the basics of what you can do. So we're going to jump into one of my workspaces, which is my management company. And what you're going to see here are a bunch of folders. So like on your computer, you can have different folders to keep stuff. And then in each one of these folders, you have what we call boards. That's a terminology specific to Monday. And that's where all of your work is created. So you have all these different boards that you work with. And that's how the system basically handles everything. Within the boards, again, that's where basically everything is done. Another terminology that you're going to hear often in the Monday world is something called a pulse. So think of a pulse as just a row. It's like an entry in your spreadsheet. From a historic point of view, Monday, before they were called Monday.com, they used to be called The Pulse, DAPULSE. It's a company from, oh God, where are they from? Israel. And that's how they initiated. But then they pivoted, renamed themselves to Monday, rebranded, and really kind of took the world by storm from there. So workspaces, you have folders and how you categorize your stuff. And then you have individual boards for how you want to work. So that's kind of a quick, and we'll talk more about more terminology as I go, but I really want to get into some of the meat and potatoes of kind of how all of this works. And I'll bring out some points that I think that are going to be important to you guys, obviously, because we're all in the same business. So I know what's been incredibly valuable to us. So I think it's going to be for you as well. So the first section that was really an issue for us. So in my office where I'm at, we're at about 1,000 units, and every month we turn over anywhere from 30 to 100 units a month, in and outs. During the summer, it's crazy. During the winter months here, it's a little bit slower, but we still have a lot of activity. We have a lot of in and outs coming out every month. So we've been traditionally doing this by having giant whiteboards in our meeting room, and we've been tracking things, and it was great. Visually, it was, you could see things, you take a look, and it's like, yeah, okay, I know what's going on. But obviously from a technology standpoint, it was incredibly weak and disappointing. So I had been searching for a tool for a number of years to be able to translate our physical environment into a digital environment. And now I'm extremely happy to be able to say that we've been able to do that. So how we work with our move outs. So the flow is the following. So everything starts with a notice, right? So tenants living in one of our properties, they give you notice, or they send you notice that they got to move out. That's what triggers everything. So the way that we do this is we instruct all of our tenants to send an email to notice at our company URL. So notice@groundfloorpm.com. So that email gets sent to, of course, that email. And I have another tool that basically parses that email. And I wanted to show you guys kind of as an extra It's a tool called automate.io. If you've never heard about it, it's amazing. And it's a great extra if you're doing a lot of automation stuff. So if you guys, probably all of you have heard of Zapier. This is very similar to Zapier, except I find there's a few things that it actually does better. It's not as big as Zapier, but it does things very well. So what I did is I have automate.io crawl this folder that I created in my inbox that tracks all of these new notices. It goes in, it takes that email, and it extracts the tenant's name, it extracts their email, and it extracts the actual notice or the email that they sent in. So in this last column, I can actually see the email that my tenant sent me. So this is from, what is it, Bianca. Hi, I'm writing you to give notice to end of my lease for May 31st. Okay, so as soon as this entry comes in, it's going to come into this new notice section. And as soon as that comes in, it sends a notification to one of my administrators to be able to say, hey, we've got a new notice. You got to go in and, do a bit of processing. So she'll come in, she will review the lease to make sure that the tenant is giving proper notice. And she'll go in here and she'll fill in a few things. She'll fill in, the different status, the address, she'll put that in, what the unit, what the move out date is. She'll populate any other information that she needs to do. And then essentially once she's changed the status to done, that means that the notice is a good notice, meaning the tenant is adhering to their lease terms and they've given us proper notice. So she sets it to done. A copy of it gets moved to this processed section. And then what happens is it gets transferred over to this next board, which is my move in and out schedule. And it gets right up here. It'll go into this unprocessed. So I'm going to do one live here. So I'm going to do 123 Main Street. I'm going to automatically, it's going to get assigned to Lisa, which is my administrator. So that's an automation that I have. So this is where the real strength of Monday comes shining. It's automations. So this little button over here, automations, this allows me to create all sorts of different automations based on rules. So what you just saw there was a real-time assignment to one of my staff members saying, hey, we just had a new notice come in. Go into Monday and check it out and see what's going on. So she can get that through an email, or you see the little bell here, notifications. She'll get something in here stating that something's been assigned to her. So that gets done. I have another automation that automatically sets the status to new, and I set the move out type to move out. So what I'll do here is I'll just manually put this in because I don't have it in there. I'm going to put the unit number, the move out date. I'm going to say it's for the 1st of May. I'm going to put my name, and I'm going to put my email in here, gmail.com, and I'm moving. There, done. Once all that's been put in there, I've processed it. I'm like, yep, everything looks good. All I have to do now is go in here and change it to done. So what'll happen, that automatically goes down here. It's now been processed, and automatically I should go to my other board and it's already here. So a copy of it gets transferred over to my move in and move out schedule, which is managed by one of my by my office manager, because she manages the control and the flow of all the ins and outs for the month. So now it's her job to go in here and do a little bit of processing. Go back to right screen. So she knows at this point that this is a valid notice because it's already been checked, right? So we know, so what the main things that she's going to do is she's going to set the status. So is this apartment currently occupied or it's empty? 9 out of 10, it's usually occupied. So she's going to put in there occupied. The type, we know that it's a move out inspection that hasn't been done yet. We put a column here for processed, meaning that when she's done processing this, she'll change this to yes. Is the unit available or is it rented? This is something that I've automated. So whenever a new entry comes into this list, I automatically set this to available. The move out date has been carried over from when it was copied from the notice board. So you can take data from one board to the other. So to keep that flow. And then anything else in here? I got a bunch of other columns here, move-in date, maintenance ready, cleaning ready. We'll kind of go into that a bit later. So really the only key points that she does is she sets the status, she checks to see if it's been rented or not, and then basically she processes it. So this is set for move out date is May 1st. So in this board, what we do as a company, it may be different from you guys, but I typically like to see what's coming up the current month. And then I like to see or try to forecast the next 3 months ahead of me. So as you can see here, I'm going to collapse everything so that I can see it more visually. Collapse all columns, groups. So in and out March and April. So that was last month. I've got my in and outs for April, May, which is this month. And then I've got a few months after that. So if I go into my April, May, this is basically what I've got going on so far this current month. So if I go in my unprocessed, I can process this to yes. And then what I'll do is I'll manually move that to the group April, May. And then it automatically gets transferred over to this list. So it should be right down here, 123 Main Street. I could automate that, but I really want to make sure that it goes into the proper month so that we don't kind of get lost. But so right now we manually just transfer it down. So that's kind of that part. I want to go back to the notice because there's one part in here that I think is very interesting that I think you guys are going to like. So once the tenant sends in that notice and my office has approved it, I've set up this other cool automation. It's an email. So I send this email to my tenants once they've moved out or once we've approved their notice. So I said, hey, how you doing? Here are the next steps to ending your tenancy. So I basically tell them our maintenance team's going to try to contact you before you move out to see if we can kind of get a heads up of what the unit's looking like. Here are some details on how to get your claim or your security deposit back. And then we've included a link to a Google Drive document that reminds me of their cleaning responsibilities. Because as you all know, sometimes we don't always get our units perfectly as we give them. So this is one of those opportunities where we can remind them very nicely, saying, hey, just a reminder, make sure that this list in the apartment's perfect because, you're going to get dinged for it. So again, that's completely an automation, or actually we call that an integration. So there's two different terms. You have automations, which are built into Monday, and then you have integrations. So integrations are here. So you hear here, I have an integration. So when the status changes to done, send an email to the tenant. It's that easy, right? And the integration center, you can go in here and there's tons of different integrations that Monday integrates with natively, which is beautiful. The big ones, Slack, Gmail. If you're a HubSpot user, even Zoom, they just added that not too long ago. If you do any work like with Trello or Asana, that's all in there. Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, anything, pretty much everything's in there. And if it's not a native integration, Zapier has pretty much integrations for everything else. So if you're understanding my lingo, you'll know what all this means and how super, super impressive it is. How this tool is built with the extendability that it has. It's mind-blowing. So this task, or I call it a notice entry, so we can rename these things. So if I click on this, it gives me a little bit more information. So any email that I automate gets logged. I can actually see all of them in here, and you can see by the little one that there's been a conversation. So other people, they can like it, they can reply to it. I can do stuff like this. Hey, Dave, oops. Dave, which is my maintenance. Let me add, I'll add Francine. Hey, Francine, check this out. And then that'll ping her. So it's just like if you guys are used to the Facebook world and other social media where you can tag people like this, Monday has the same functionality. So I can do that. And then she'll get a notification that I sent her something. Other cool things are these info boxes. So if you want to add a file to this particular case, maybe you want to upload a copy of their lease, you could do that. So here, I'll just add a file. Here, this is a move out report that I had a while ago. So I can add that in there, and then that file is now in there. And I think they have like a preview mode where it's absolutely beautiful, right? So this is a Z Inspector move out that we did. So it's gorgeous how you can just see things and how they integrate the previewing and stuff. It's awesome. Notes, you can put in notes in here. Q&A questions. We haven't played a whole lot with that, so I'm not quite sure what's all in there. Activity log. So this can be a lifesaver. So if you run a shop like mine, where you got a lot of people doing a lot of different things all the time, sometimes you lose track of who's doing what, and you try to kind of backtrack to find out, well, who did that and when did they do that? Well, in Monday, everything gets logged with timestamps in terms of when a status was changed, when something was moved, when something was deleted. So if a problem arises today because of something that happened 5 days ago, there's a very good chance that you're going to be able to find it in the activity logs in Monday. It's happened to me twice in the last 2 weeks where one of my staff members, they changed the status, and we're all like, "What? Well, who did that and why did they do it?" And we went through a couple of the logs and we found out exactly it was, person XYZ. So we then called them and said, "Okay, why'd you change that?" I was like, "Oh, I made a mistake, and I did it for whatever reason." But the point is like accountability. It's like built into this platform, which is, to a property management owner, it's like it's magical. So super, super useful. Let me see what else on this board that's helpful. Common features in all of these boards, you can hide columns. So let's say if I wanted to hide the type and the address and the unit, I can do that. So I can shorten my view, I can expand it, I can see the whole thing. So it really depends on what I need to see. And I'll show you guys the real beauty. So let's say I just want to see people, I want to see the status, and I want to see the type. I don't care about anything else right now. So I'm going to uncheck all these. And here's a cool little thing, save as new view. So I'm going to do that, save it. I'm going to name it Tony's view, enter. So now we have a list of views here. So the default is always called main table. But now, so if I go to main table, I see everything. Now I click here, Tony's view. Now I only see what I want to see. So these views are super, super powerful. When you really get into this, your boards start to get pretty complex, and views are the way that you simplify how you see things and how you look at things. So that's where a lot of the magic comes in. And they got a ton of different views that you can add here, and we'll kind of go through a bit more. So I'm going to go back to the main table. Another thing here is you can filter. So what if I only want to see, let me see here. If I only want to see I want to see all the processed move outs for this building, 245 McLaughlin. If I click that, it's just going to show me anything for that specific property. So this filtering, it's so easy. You just click on it and then you can filter on whatever you want to see. We'll look at some more advanced filtering in other boards because this one's pretty simple. But again, super, super, powerful in terms of what it can do. So let's go back to our move out board. So again, we've processed it. It's now been put into my proper category. So this is where we get into the beautiful world of ins and outs in property management. So, we keep track of the statuses. Are they move-ins? Are they move-outs? Are they in and outs? So those are a bit tricky and different, right? So if you have a tenant living there and you get another one moving in right away, then that's a special condition. So we track that a lot differently because of maintenance, right? Maintenance related issues. So here we track, is the move out done? Has the unit been rented? What are the move-ins and move-outs dates? We track if it's maintenance ready, cleaning ready. So all sorts of different things that we track here. Some of the views that we've saved. So if I want to see all my rented units, I can click on that view, and this is what I can see for all my move-ins. I can then filter that down to a specific month if I wanted to. But again, it's a great tool to be able to see all my rented units. The one that we probably look at the most is individually. I want to see all my move-outs in one box, and then I want to see all my move-ins in one box. So here we created a view. Okay, here are all my move-outs for this month. It's very clean. It's good. So you see here these little bubbles with the numbers. So these are different conversations that we're having internally. So here is, this one she just put in here what was rented. Here's the email that I had sent them earlier. This is my agent that checked the notice to make sure that it was good. So you can see a whole thread of everything that was done throughout the lifetime of that notice, because it continues to travel on, which is awesome. Let me see here. So we got the move out dates. We've got some hidden columns here, but we don't have too much more in there. Let me see. So that's that part. So I'll kind of show you some of the automations that we have. Some very important ones. So for example, when we change the status to empty, we have automations that send a notice or an email notification to our maintenance ops manager so that he's notified, okay, that unit is now empty. You can then put it on your empty list for maintenance to be done on that unit. Whenever a unit is rented, we have an automated notification going out to our leasing managers, letting them know, okay, hey, this unit's been rented. Take it off the vacancy list. Take the ads down. Whatever it needs to be done, the sequence of events that needs to be done after that. So we can all automate all of that now, versus before, it's like you're kind of always in your inbox or Slack or text. It was just nonsense. So we've taken all of that out. What are some other cool automations we've got in here? So status changes to empty. We create an item in our maintenance board. When rented, this notifies our agent. When it's processed, this notifies our maintenance manager. So whenever we get a new notice, we want to notify our maintenance ops manager just to kind of give him heads up. It's like, hey, okay, we've got another notice for next month. So that gives him a little bit of a forecast to what he's going to be looking at next month in terms of work, right? Do I got 5 turnovers or do I got 50 turnovers? Big difference. So that's the move out. So that's part 2. So the first part, notice comes in. Part 2, it comes into our in and out schedule. And then what happens is it goes into our maintenance board, our empty board. So once a unit's been tracked as empty, it gets transferred over to this list. So in here, We've got, again, a bunch more information, address, communications between the teams, whatever they're talking about. So this is me and my maintenance manager. He's like, hey, Tony, bathroom was gutted, waiting for approval to proceed once the owner sends funds prior to doing the work. So beautiful. Doesn't have to send me an email, doesn't have to send me a call. It's quick, get the notification. So in here, this is how he gives all of the work orders to our men, right? So he's going to say maintenance in progress, or if it's ready, is the cleaning ready or not? And then we have the maintenance people and the cleaning people that have been assigned to it. So as soon as I assign a maintenance guy, he sent the task and he sent basically the list of items that he needs to do. Lots of great things in here. So this is a Bible for us in terms of being able to. So we have our vacancy list, and they work very close hand in hand, right? Empty units are, something, the units that people just moved out in, either they're going through renovations or there's maintenance being done. We recently added this new column, which is the move out report. So if I look at this address, 421 McLaughlin, I can just click on this link, and it's actually my move out inspection from Z Inspector. So we've just uploaded it right in, just in case somebody needs to see something quick. And again, guys, all of this stuff is accessible on your phone as well. The phone app is amazing. It's got pretty much all the functionality. Not 100%, but still awesome. So again, here it gives me a nice preview. Beautiful. I can download it. I can do whatever I want with it. So that works. That works really well. So this tool has been fantastic from a maintenance perspective. So I don't know how many of you guys use, the different management, if you're Property Meld, Appfolio, Buildium, Propertyware, whatever the choice may be. We still use Buildium, and we were using the maintenance part of Buildium to track all of our work orders. And it's not great. It's actually pretty bad. So we've now completely uprooted all of that. And now we've integrated everything into Monday, because we're able to do the automations. That was the biggest pain point for me, was how do I elevate the level of service that I give my tenants? So when they send a maintenance request, that I can track from when it was open to when it was closed, how to advise them through the journey of the maintenance request based on statuses. So once it's assigned, hey, let them know, send them a quick note, say, hey, listen, your request has been assigned to this maintenance guy. He should contact you within the next 24 hours to make an appointment to go see you. Then do follow-ups. When the maintenance order is done, send them a great follow-up. Say, hey, listen, Mike was just at your property. He fixed that toilet. We know it's been leaking for a while. It's all taken care of. You should be all good. By the way, here's a link below of a survey that I'd love you to be able to fill out if you wouldn't mind. Take a few minutes. So that's what we've done. So in this maintenance in progress, this is where we track all of our service work. So tenants call in, my toilet's leaking, or this is broken, or that's broken. It gets all logged in here. And we have a bunch of different ways that people can do it. They can either send an email to our maintenance email. And again, I use automate.io to filter it and then bring them into these pulses. Or they can fill out I can send the tenants to our website and they can fill out a form. Probably like most of us, we've all got these links on our websites that send them to. Hello? Hey, Clay, can you hear me? Okay. Geez, I'm not sure what happened there. Let's see here. Go back to my screen, share. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm not quite sure what happened right there. So we've transferred the maintenance capabilities or the maintenance request forms from Buildium to Monday. So when I talked to you guys earlier about these different views, well, you can actually create forms out of these. So here we've created a new work order form that's designed based off of all the columns in Monday. So here I'll show you what it looks like. If I preview the form, this is now what the tenants can see. So they just got to fill in their name, address, fill in all the details, what type of work they want. They put in an update and they submit it. And it then gets entered into our email pulses section. So we've got some automations that as soon as something hits in there, it notifies or it gets assigned to my manager, and then he assigns it to the appropriate men that are actually going to do the work after that. So you see here down here, work in progress. We've got a bunch of stuff in here going on, the different work order numbers, my different staff that are doing it, what status it is, and we got some tenant information. And this is where it really gets interesting. So the maintenance guys, when they're out on the field, they can use this section to track their hours of the time that they're putting in. And then on us on the back end, when they complete it, this gets sent to accounting for payroll through a bunch of other different boards. So we had this conversation last week with one of my bookkeepers and account reps. He said it probably is going to save them anywhere from 3 to 5 hours every 2 weeks or every pay period of going through the archaic work order type system to check everything, to having an automated text system like this to be able to process work orders and do payroll efficiently and quickly. So it's been, again, I'm going to say this word game changer a lot because it's true. It's really transformed a lot of the ways that we conduct our business. Another beautiful thing that we did was we had this survey put in. So you'll see in one of these down here, I believe. Yeah. So once the email has been completed, or once the task has been completed, we send them this email, and it sends them to our form for a survey. And this is the survey, maintenance feedback. So again, they put in their name, what happened, and then they just, was the quality of work good? And they just kind of pick for stars, and then they hit submit. I'll fill one out here. Happy, and I'll submit that. Now I can go into the board, my maintenance feedback form, and I can see that an entry just came in. So we just set this up, so that's why it's all empty. Yeah, we set a bunch of automations to basically where it goes. And what we're going to do is once these things come in, obviously the right people are notified, and then they can take appropriate actions on what they need to be able to do. So very, very cool stuff. You do there. I'm going to jump into, so that's notices, move-ins, and kind of that workflow. I know it's a lot. I feel like I'm kind of talking through a water hose here, but hopefully you'll be able to slow it down, watch it again, and take good notes and just ask me questions, because I can walk you through all that. Another big question that I got asked a lot was, can you automate the handling of late rents and notices? And my answer is yes. We've done a magical job here. So how we do this. So on the 2nd of the month or on the 3rd of the month, we'll go into Buildium. There's a report in there that's their delinquency report. I export that into Excel. I got to clean it up because Buildium is horrible with the reporting and how they dump it out. But we clean it up, and then we import it into Monday. And this is essentially what it looks like. It gives me their address, what unit, first name, last name, and it gives me how much money they owe. Okay. So the first thing that we do is the status when it goes in as unpaid. So whenever the status is unchanged or is changed to unpaid, listen to this very closely on what we're doing. So we do three things. So we send them an email stating that their rent is late and you owe this much and you need to contact us right away. We send them a text with that same message. And the third one, we send them an automated voicemail to their telephones stating that they have a notice or they have, that their rents are late. So three things that I can automate in this list. When status is changed to unpaid, SMS, status is changed to call, phone, and then actually I can say in here what I want it to say. So we use Twilio. If you guys have never heard of that, it's pretty inexpensive, maybe 20 or 30 bucks a month to be able to send out the texts. But it's pretty powerful. So, and you can do this on a repeating basis. You can add a condition that says, okay, after 3 days, every 3 days, check if it's still unpaid, blast it out again. Email, phone, voice message, email, phone, voice message. And you keep pushing until you get paid. Excuse me. And this has been working amazing. So, once they pay, we change it down here. So here are all the people, now they're all paid, they're all good. We all give them a thumbs up. Here's our ones we're working on. We've got, I can reprioritize all these columns. So here I'm prioritizing them on my little angry face because they're not calling us back or they're ignoring us and they owe a lot of money. So, right now, these are my top hitters that I'm not very happy with. They owe us quite a bit of money. So, my staff, that's why you see a lot of comments, right? Left message, knocked on door, whatever we need to do to get our money. So this by itself is like amazing. How much time, I don't know about you guys, but how much time we used to spend chasing and writing these emails and, calling and doing this and doing that. It was incredible. Even if you have a VA doing this, it's still expensive, but having a system that can automate this and it's like so easy to do is amazing. It's awesome. So that's how we handle our notices. We also have what we call claims. So probably you guys have all the same thing. When a tenant moves out, their security deposit doesn't cover what they owe. Basically here in the part of Canada we're at, we send them straight to collections. So this is how we track all of our collections. So, there's a bunch of details, address, names, how much they owe. And again, we basically structure this in a way so that it creates a proper communication to the tenant to advise them that, hey, you still owe us $1,000. I'm getting ready to send you to collections. What do you want to do? We have here, when we're sending that communication to the tenants, we actually send them a copy of their move out reports. So do I got one I can show you guys? There's one here. So this is the email, how it was structured. So, hello, we finished processing your move out and then concluded that we'll make a claim against a security deposit for the following items. So we actually automate it: microwave, light fixtures, toilet, stove, and supplies. And we tell them how much they owe, $65. Below is a link to some pictures of your unit. So we actually send them a copy of their move out report. Say, hey, listen, I ain't making this up. Here are the pictures of the unit and how you left it for us. So we make it very clear, and we try not to leave anything open to where they're going to, they try to fight this. So we strongly recommend that you want to avoid this and you contact us and let's settle this before it gets to collections. And this has been incredibly valuable for us. So again, if that's something that interests you, I can certainly walk you through a process like that. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing pretty good. I'm going to go through 2 more boards and then I'm going to open it up to some questions. So if you guys notice my folder structure, it's very EOS-like. So sales and marketing, property management, maintenance cleaning, finance, and then we have a few other cool things that we do. I wanted to show you our vacancy list. Again, Buildium has this, and every property management software has it. How good they are, I don't know. I don't like Buildiums. It drives me crazy. So for our purpose, we wanted to incorporate everything into Monday. So because for us, we have a big team, we got a lot of units. We usually reprint and circulate our vacancy list to a bunch of different people every week. And there's a lot of changes. There's adding, there's removing, changing prices, rent ready, not rent ready, dates, when are these units coming out? So this kind of gives us a high level view of everything that there is to know about this property. So this is just a little, here, I'll give a better example. I'll do Atlantic, that's a 6 unit. So we go in here, we have each unit. These are all, they're full, so there's no vacancies. So elevator, no, there's no elevator. Kids, do we accept kids? No. Is there a laundry room? So IB stands for in building. How many parking stalls per unit? Just one. Do we accept pets? Yes or no. Are utilities included? Yes or no. What floor the unit is on? So all sorts of great stuff that you can add here that it's, I don't know about you, but for me in Buildium, you got to go through so many different places to see all of the data at once, and it drives me nuts. So we've kind of created our own here where it's like, oh my God, it's so amazing to be able to watch and look at, and it's really helpful for new employees. So when we have vacancies, we just got to go into the correct month and whatever, and then put in the price, and that lets us know that unit's coming available. So if I look at available units, this is going to show me all of my units that I currently have available today. Super easy, right? It's got, is it rent ready? Not available yet. That means that there's probably, it's either still occupied or they're still doing maintenance. Has the ad been posted? And then here we got our prices. So these are the price for the units. So, if my leasing agent is away on vacation and another leasing agent has to take over, well, they have kind of this master list that gives them all that data. Again, super helpful for us. Maybe you've got a great solution, maybe not. This has been really great for us. The other one that I want to go through was, and this is not going to be probably like anything super new to you guys, which these are pipelines. So CRM, pipeline, however you want to call it, however you want to treat it, there's tools like HubSpot, Pipedrive, Zoho, the list goes on and on and on. Of you can even use Trello. You can use a lot of different things to be able to track how you do stuff. I've found that Monday has been super intuitive in terms of how you can track this. So for me, I'm just tracking my active deals. So this is my real estate stuff, active deals, my leads, what's closing, and what's been paid. So I track, all the different, where they are, what stage of the deal, are they listings, are they offers, are they private deals, what are the different dates involved, closing dates. If you're a Kanban liker, there's also those views available. So if you like Trello type stuff, you can do all that in Monday too. I'm not a big fan of this type of viewing, so I don't really like it. So I don't use it a lot. So I like viewing it in this table view. And then from here, you can add a bunch of different fancy graphics if you want. I don't really have any automations set up in here. If you're using this as a pure CRM, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do to automate stuff. You could put like, date to contact the customer again. So you can create an automated email that sends out a touch email to them, in a couple of weeks. I got a new lead last week and I want to, I don't want to forget, I should probably reach out to them, next week to see kind of how things are going. Where do you want to go? So tons and tons of different things that you can do into there. If you're big into marketing, this is my podcast world in terms of how I structure and I keep track of all of my content for when I do my podcast. So I track my ideas, the categories, property management, all sorts of other stuff. And then I got a bunch of things. Is my content created? Has it been recorded, uploaded, SEO, released, published dates, all this sort of stuff. So you can really adapt the system to, really almost any type of workflow that you've got going on, whether if it's in your personal life or if it's directly, for property management. Another good one that I use, my property owners. So this is where I keep track of all my owners. So I've got all their details. I've got their insurance policies. I can just click on the link, management fees, property management agreements. I'm not done. I just started this one. When their insurance renewals are coming up, so they can automate to send them reminders so that you don't have to constantly think about it. So there's so many little things like that. And I know you can do some of this stuff in property management software as well, but we've decided to just pull all that and kind of put it all in here because it just, for us, it made complete sense. A few other things here on the side. My week. So this is a pretty popular view with like task management systems. So you can kind of see all the tasks that are assigned to you. So you can do that here. So these are all the things that I got coming up. What's assigned to me, stuff with no dates. I don't use that too much yet, but it does work very well. One of my staff, what we're putting in place, I'll show you guys something really interesting, is one of my staff members is what we're implementing for everybody is a list of tasks that they have to do every month that are just like, these are mission critical things that I do every month. So if you ever want to self-create a job description, like this is the ideal place to be able to do it, right? So this gentleman, he's got all of his things that he needs to do. He sets the status and he's got all of his due dates. And then as the month goes by, he's just done. He'll set that it's stuck. He'll tag me on stuff. But it's his own personal accountability system so that he doesn't lose track of any major activities. And it's been, completely transforming for his job. And of course for me and visibility, and like, okay, I'm like, where's he at this month? I'm like, did he do that? And it's like, I just got to go in here. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like right here, Tony's credit card. Did that get paid? Okay. Yep. Good. That's a good one to know. Right. So awesome things that you can do in here. So you're probably a little overwhelmed. I've been going on here for about an hour. I'm going to open up the lines here and see if we got any questions. Give me a sec to get all this open. So where is my chat? More chat. Okay, so I've got the chat up. So if anybody's got any questions, put in a chat and just say me, and then I'll unmute you and I'll turn on your camera. I don't know if all of you can see where your chats are. I'll send something here. So you got it. Wait a minute. Okay, Clay, we're going to get you. One sec. Clay, you there? Okay, one sec.
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. You were muted. All right, man. How you doing?
Hey, doing good.
Very well. Good. What you got?
So how you doing with so like delinquencies, for instance, in Buildium, and obviously people pay every single day. How are you dealing
Yep.
with the management of the money as it changes each day? Is there a process to upload numbers, or what's that look like?
Right now, how we're still kind of working on perfecting that. It would be great if Buildium had a Zap that we could find that out. But what we're doing is when the funds are coming in. So once we're past the first of the month, so the first of the month we process all of our pre-authorized payments, and those are the automated ones. The ones that trail after that are almost 99% of the time they're email transfers. So what happens is when my controller, when she does the email deposits, she'll just send a quick email to the person that's responsible for that board, indicating which ones have paid, and then she just goes in and updates Monday. So there is a duplication in terms of you got to post it to Buildium because that's still the main accounting system, but it takes 2 seconds to update the status in Monday, so that gets corrected as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully someday that will, I don't know what's going on with Buildium, and I don't know other software out there in terms of if they have an easy way to be able to, pull when something's been paid. You could, every morning, she could print out a report that said, okay, who paid yesterday? And then just kind of do a reconciliation against the late rents that she's seeing and just check them off. So there's a number of ways she could do it. But I don't know if it's an email or a Slack that she sends when we get an e-transfer, and she just updates it.
Okay. And then second part, two-part about same question. I know that you were building out another section with maybe vacancy data, and it looked like you had all of your properties in there. Do you just maintain each property as they come on board? You enter them into the system, or is that an export that you do periodically from Buildium and then upload all of your units?
For new properties?
New properties, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
removals.
The way that we've done is we've created a system, or basically a quick little checklist for onboarding new properties. So obviously the first part is putting it into Buildium, but now there's an additional part that we added to Monday as well.
Okay.
So again, it's really just using, you create a form. So let me go into my owner section, owners, property owners. And then here, it's just about, I can simply do it here. I'm going to add more views. We haven't done the form yet, but if I go in here and click form, then it's done. So I can now use this form to add a new property. It's really that simple. And then
Okay.
that'll create a new entry for me in here. So yes, Adrian, I saw your question as well about the whole duplication thing. In my opinion, there's a few things that are going to have to be duplicated, like entering a new property or removing a property. You got to make sure that it's out in both systems. But in the time that we've been using Monday, I get more value out of Monday, and as a company, we've probably saved anywhere from 30 to 40 man hours a month of work that we've been able to automate and integrate within that tool. So I have no issues taking 30 seconds to add a new building or removing a building from Monday when I get new management, or every 2 or 3 days checking to see, okay, who's paid their rents and who hasn't, so that I can reconcile my notice list. That's really it. Because I was on the phone with Buildium. I had a call with them on Friday. I've had 2 calls with them in the last little bit about their whole, what they're doing for their API and what they're going to be doing. It's nowhere as close, and I don't think it's going to be anything what we want. But I don't run Buildium, so I like the core of the system of what they have, and it's very good at what it does. But I'm totally okay with being able to let that do its part that it's good at, and then I'm going to try to control everything else that I can, that's saving me time and money in a different system. That's the way that we've looked at it. Because you're with Buildium as well, right, Clay?
Yeah, that's correct. So,
Yeah.
So I just wonder on this system. it leads me to another insight that I've got about maybe a workaround for that. I can continue on with it, or maybe some other people want to ask some questions first before I get too technical.
Yes, you can go down that road.
Yes, I would.
I've seen your posts. So Nate, you asked, you save 40 hours for how many units? So we have 3 locations, close to 2,000 doors. So it's a lot, right? Let me see, go back. Tony's units correspond directly to your move-in. So Josh, Tony, does your vacancy list correspond directly with your move-in, move-out maintenance flow? Not yet. We're building that out now. So there's a important feature in Monday that's called mirroring and linking. So the idea is that you can create what they call low-level boards that has all of your property and unit details, and then you can continuously link to that true set of data to all your other different boards. So we haven't done it yet, but we're re-engineering the way that some of our boards are built, and we will be integrating that in there. So that's a great question. Arturo, how long has it taken you to get from where you are to right now? So Arturo, it's probably been 6 months, I would say, with a lot of time. Like I spend a lot of hours playing around, tweaking, coming up with ideas. There's a lot of time that needs to be put in the front end of actually designing the process flow. There's a big mistake is to go in there and start trying to play around and try to figure it all out while you're building the board. You're best to kind of try to sketch it out. So I've got tons of, plain old paper that I'll draw my boards and I draw the flow. If you're more advanced, then you can use, workflow tools online like Visio and stuff like that, where you can actually create your process tree. But yeah, there's a lot of thought that has to go into this stuff, because if you're, I know you're, who you're working with, and, you guys got a pretty big management company as well. So there's a lot of specific ways that you run your business. So you got to make sure that you take into consideration all those intricacies and who needs to get notified when on all these little things. Let me see. Adrian, could you use Buildium notification emails to forward email parse? Yes, you could. So there's a number of ways to get email data into Monday. So there's the way that I showed you, which is through automate.io, but there's also super cool way, which I'll show you guys. So every board has an email address. So if I go in here, email preferences. So if you guys see this, each board has a unique email address. So I can just copy that email and I can send an email and it creates a new entry in the board, which is beautiful. The only problem with that is if your email has structure to it, it's very difficult to do anything smart with it once it gets into Monday. It's going to require somebody to go in and manipulate it. So that's why I use Automate, because I can get the email address, I can parse it, I can get the name, I can parse the body of the email. I can do a lot more stuff with it and put it into the right places in Monday. So that's why I like that. But yeah, 100% you can do that. You can email boards, and you can even go it further. See the individual tasks. There's even emails for each task in your board. So let's say you want to create a folder that has you and your owner. And for each owner, you have a bunch of stuff. You can share this board with your owner, and you guys can use that to communicate and to work on stuff together. We haven't experimented with it a whole lot. There's still a few things that I'm still waiting for Monday to put out there. But yeah, you can, it's amazing. So you can email at a board level as well as a pulse level or a task level. Hope that answered that, Adrian. So Edwin, good question. What's keeping me in Buildium? Well, the reality is, there's still a lot that they do that I can't replicate in Monday, right? There's the whole accounting part of it. Could I eventually probably build it myself? Possibly. Do I want to be my own software developer? Not sure about that. I like the security, and I like the fact that, I've been with Buildium for 11 years now. I've never had any issues with my data. Everything's been pretty good. I don't use any of their ePay features or e-leasing and stuff like that because I think it's too buggy. So yeah, it's going to be a filtering process. The further I get into this, we'll always re-examine our need for a tool like Buildium. Maybe eventually we get to a day where I can run everything but accounting in here and then use another tool for my accounting, like that integrates natively with Monday, like a QuickBooks or Xero or some other tool. I don't know. We're a ways away from that. This is really to accentuate and automate some of the things that were eating up a lot of our time, kind of like the low-hanging fruit. And then as time goes by, we'll investigate what other real values this tool will have, which right now it's endless, right? Let me see. Edwin, Adrian. Okay, Trey, I'll probably have more questions, but I always hate it. I might be love it again. Trey, I think you could love it. Give it a chance. Let's get on a call, and I can guide you through some of the things. Okay. I think that's it. Clay, did you have another question? Did you want to shoot out at?
Yeah, I think you touched on it a little bit when you said you can create link tables or master source tables or whatnot.
Yep. Yep.
So kind of where I've struggled is, so I have access to my data from Buildium, but I hired some developers and gave them some requirements. And so
yep.
we have an Amazon server we stood up, and I could
yep.
probably do this for anybody in the room here conceptually, but
yep.
I just take that logic and I hit run, and it logs into Buildium, and it pulls down like say 17 spreadsheets,
yep.
and uploads it to my server table, and then I just run some logic that I've got there to process it. So that's how I've
yep.
been handling, dealing with vacancies.
Yep.
But it's conceptually, I mean, it'd be just as easy for me to email a spreadsheet of properties from Buildium.
Yep.
And have it put into this software as my, source of truth for the property addresses or for the delinquent payers. If this has
yep.
the ability to compare a spreadsheet to a list and then add, change, or delete, then I think that would work out pretty good.
Yeah. So here's a new feature that you would probably fall in love with, is a pivot board. So that's where you can actually do a lot more smarter intelligence and actually do searching capabilities against data in your boards.
Gotcha.
This is going to be a game changer. That's going to be huge. So
are you able to swap out say if I have a list of master addresses, am I able to just overwrite that list with the same data?
Yes. I believe so. Yeah. Yep. Okay. There may be other tools required. I've found that Automate has helped me with searching for an entry in a board and then changing the data. So Monday doesn't do that natively. They don't have that stuff in there yet, but I think it's coming. So I've had to use an outside tool to do kind of that searching capability. I haven't dove into the pivot table functionality in terms of exactly how it all works. But that's kind of one of the things on my list. Anything else, like there's a lot of columns in here that they're called, so basically almost any Excel functionality that you are familiar with, everything can be done in here. Like when I go in here and add these columns, if I want to add a column, here are all the different column types. And the one that I love the most is called formula.
Okay.
So this is where you can put conditional logic, and it's basically just like Excel. So you can do if, then, else, everything that Excel has. So replace, it's limitless in terms of how much power it has.
just how much time you want to be able to put in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's been very, very good for us. Let me see, make sure I didn't get any other questions. Webinar pricing. Okay, so Nate asked about pricing. So adding, okay, so we have a number of users. So this is kind of a user-based. The product for up to like 5 users, it's like $60 a month. Then it goes up in increments of like 5 or 10 users or something like that. We're kind of like 15 users, I think, and we're at like $250 a month, somewhere in that range. So the ROI for us has been, out of this world. So in terms of what we're saving on a monthly basis every month with all these automations, and it's great to automate things, but when I start to see true value in terms of changing the relationships with the people that is being affected by this, like my tenants, my maintenance guys, and my owners, and they're seeing the value, that's when I know I've got something a little bit different. It's good for, internally for us to kind of create processes and streamline a bunch of stuff. But now for us to automate some of these surveys, to be able to, track stuff with our owners, to be able to, streamline our maintenance operations, all through the same tool has kind of been like this dream, and Clay, I read through your dream list, and it's like, we could probably compare notes, and we have a lot of similar items that, that we'd like. We're, I think it's safe to say we're pretty two diehard tech geeks. So I love this stuff, and that's why I've kind of jumped into it, with everything that we've got. So there's no more questions. So I will end off with this. So obviously we've been having great success with Monday. I wanted to put it out there for the property management world because I think we need something like this. There's, we have a tough job as it is. I think this tool can help a lot of people do a lot of things, streamline some things, automate some stuff, get rid of some headaches so that you guys can focus on real stuff, which is, working with your owners, growing your business, working with tenants, and providing a great service. That's what we all need to be focused on. So obviously, Monday's great for us. It may or may not be for you. You can decide. I do have to say that I am an affiliate with Monday. So if you guys decide to try it, I'm going to send you guys an email after this that includes the recording. And if you want to give the product a shot, just if you don't mind using my link, doesn't cost you anything. But on the back end, if you end up signing up for the product, I'll get a little bit of a kickback, which obviously is a help to us. For that, if you decide to go the route and give it a try through the link, I'm going to be also providing everybody with an hour session, one-on-one, to help you guys get set up. So I'm going to include my calendar link, all the details. If it interests you, I'm here to help. So if that's of value, I'm available for you guys, and we can set that up, and I can show you more in depth some of our boards, or you just basically tell me how you're processing things today, and I'll start putting some boards and some automations together for you. So I think that's all I got for today. I hope you guys found it of value. So again, I'm going to send you guys an email. Send me a reply. Let me know what you thought, if there's any other questions. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll chat soon. Cheers.